I have really enjoyed talking to our guests, and I really enjoyed this next guest that we have coming up. We actually talked about prayer and some of the things that you need to do in prayer. She goes over, the Acts prayer. She talks about how we're supposed to pray and what we're supposed to pray. And we just had a great conversation on prayer. It took me a while to learn that, sometimes when we pray, you know what? Not even sometimes, but God always has the opportunity to say yes, no, or wait. And so when you learn these things, you don't always get so angry or so mad with God if you don't get your way. And so we just had a wonderful conversation. We had a wonderful time. So come on over, listen to what she has to say, glean some stuff, grow, learn, take what you need, and then we'll see you on the other side. Welcome to Beginner's Guide to Christianity, where we help strengthen your relationship with God, learn to hear God's voice, and develop a stronger faith through a better understanding of Christian principles, terminology, and prayer. We are here today with Nedra Ali.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Nedra is AKA Digital Sister. She's off the chain. Good. She's the owner of Simplistic Innovations with a Z. With a rich background in digital marketing, Nedra has dedicated herself to helping small businesses thrive in the digital world. As a coach, manager, and consultant, has adapted and navigated the complexities of digital marketing, ensuring her clients' online presence is both impactful and genuine. Nija's passion extends beyond the realm of digital media. She's deeply committed to mission work. In 2023, she undertook her second mission trip to India with Follow the Sun Ministries, a journey that not only deepened her faith, but also broadened her understanding of diverse global communities. In 2024, she continues this heartfelt mission, traveling to various locations to spread the word of God and engage with people from different backgrounds. Blending professional expertise with her spiritual mission, Nedra Ali embodies a unique blend of dedication, joy, and authenticity. Whether strategically or strategizing for digital marketing or sharing her faith, she brings the same level of enthusiasm and commitment. So she is one of those sisters with a full package. She's wonderful. She's off the chain. I'm just gonna just say, you know what? I give her all honor because I respect the
Thank
work
you.
that my sister does. But anyway, let's get into it. I
Yes.
know we're gonna talk about prayer today, and I'm excited
Mm.
about talking about prayer because it's something I had to learn to do. So, first, tell us a little bit about your journey with Christ, and then we'll go into the prayer later.
Okay. Well, I say I was raised Kojic. I was born in Kojic and just born and raised in Kojic. When I left high school, I kind of strayed away a little bit, when I moved to Florida, but I've always, recognize God is, is near me, always with me. But, in your younger years, sometimes you kind of stray away. But I want to say I really came back to Christ. I want to say 100% when I started having a family and I started realizing that I need to have that same solid background or that I did with my family. It's very important to have that stable that stable household, and it was just something that I was yearning for. It was something that my husband was yearning for, and just since then we've just been rolling with Christ, and it's just been amazing. The journey has just been amazing. This is my second marriage. So my first marriage, we I can say we didn't have Christ at the center in our lives, and things happened there. But really, I want to say um, 2011, I want to say really gave myself back to Christ, me, my husband, and so yeah.
And that's a blessing because a lot of times we do have that foundational from our childhood. And
Mhm.
then, we all have a journey. We all kind of stray. We all go and do our thing. But then, you know what? Just like the word says, you put it in them and then they'll be right back. And so as we get older, because I went through that same thing when I had my daughter, I was like, oh my God, I don't want her out here like this. Like I'm out here right now. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I definitely wanted her to have that firm foundation so that when she does get older, even if she goes, I'm not saying if she goes on her journey because she is on a journey,
Right.
but she'll be able to come back. And
Yeah.
so that is a blessing to even for God to even wake us up in our mind to know, you know what, you better get on the right track. You got an example to set for some other people in your life.
And it's different, when you're younger, you don't have that understanding like you do now, or that personal relationship with God. And it's just, I really focusing on building that personal relationship with God, getting to know Him, and getting to know His Word much deeper, and understanding. Sometimes back in the day, you kind of see how people pray, and you kind of mimic what you saw, but you
Right.
never really develop your own prayer life. And that's something that I can say, that really opened my eyes, is to really develop that personal prayer life. Mm.
So, what are some of the steps that you took to develop that personal prayer life?
Well, I want to say when I first started praying, it was just like, oh God, art thou, help me. I've done this, help me. It was always a prayer when you were in need, not so
Mhm.
much of a relationship with Him, right? So it was a class that I took a long time ago, and they kind of really um, broke down the way to pray. And for me, being a technical background, being a data analyst, I love a point A to point B. Show me
Yes.
technically how to do it. And sometimes the light bulb pop off. So they taught the Acts prayer method, which is A for adoration, which is worship, and then we have C for confessions, and then thanksgiving, and then supplication. So a lot of times when people pray, it's always, I need this, I need this, I need this. But to really understand going in and just worshiping the Father,
Yes.
letting Him know, start with that. Being a parent, I know sometimes you don't want your kids to come to you and the first thing they ask, Mommy, can I have this? Mommy, can I have that? Mommy, can I have that? And there's no sort of communication. So I just had to really look at, how do I communicate with my kids? Or how did I communicate with my own father, my
Mhm.
natural father, and take that, talk to God. Me and God, we just be here. I realized that I have to speak to Him all day, every day. It's not a set time.
True.
It's that you have to, yes, there are times God will have us up praying, but there's not a set time that we have to pray.
That's true.
We can
It's
do it all
all
the
day,
time.
every day. I mean,
Hmm.
as long as you go through the steps and like you said, I was so guilty of what you're saying about just saying, Daddy, I need this, Daddy, I want this, Daddy, can you do this? Daddy, can you take care of this? I'm guilty. I was so guilty of that. And then I was just like, we're supposed to be having like a normal conversation with him,
Hmm.
daily or even hourly or even, every minute. We're supposed to be going to him and say, hey, you know what? You are great Father, you are awesome, God. You have provided for me. Thank you for all the things that you have done. And that just changed my whole world of prayer.
I remember one time it was something that I wanted for our family, and God, why this is not happening to me? Why is this not happening to me? Clear as day, He said, "Did you ask? Did you pray?"
Mm.
Sometimes it's the littlest things. Sometimes people think when they go to act, it has to be some grand things, but something as simple as, can you let this gas stay until the end of the week?
Yes.
It's something as simple as letting this grocery bill last. And it's just and how you pray. I know I used to pray for, I hope they do this, I hope they change. But now I pray for me to be have patience for me.
Yes.
So it's just developing how to pray, and changing it up and speaking to the Father. He's right there. you
I know
know
I just wrote in my blog the other day my experience when I went through college to get my degree.
hmm
And I remember writing on a speaker box saying, the scripture, I don't remember the verse in the chapter, but it was ask, seek, and knock.
hmm
And I was like, Lord, just let me graduate from college. And he did it. And so I'm just thinking, oh, I asked for something. He did it. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. But that's just the beginning.
hmm
The ask, the seek, and the knock.
I mean, just the beginning, but I mean, one thing I do love is just the worship. Is
Yeah.
I'm in the dance ministry, so everyone has their personal worship to God. Sometimes when I like to pray. Sometimes my prayer may start with a dance,
Mhm.
and while I'm dancing, I may, speak to the Father, and then, go into, Lord, I'm sorry if I've done anything, any
Mhm.
wrong, things like that. And then thanking Him for what He's already done. Like, God has woken you up this morning. God, you fed, your kids are not wanting anything, just some of the little things. Because sometimes we get kind of bogged down on the bad things or what's
Yes.
not going right in our lives instead of really sitting back,
Right.
breathe, and look at what is going right in your life. And I'm a firm believer, get that pros and cons. What are all the pros? What are all the cons? And sometimes the pros outweigh those cons. So,
Yes.
you know, and
So,
that's the supplication. Yeah, go ahead.
yes, so tell us a little bit about adoration, exactly what it is.
Adoration is speaking to the Father, let him know, thank you, God, for who you are. You are my provider. You are my way maker. You are my will in the middle. You are I am. I am. You are my Father. You are my Abba. Just worshiping, taking it all in for who He is, the Creator, our Father. So that is the worship, the adoration that you want to start with. Is just really um, coming to Him and acknowledging that who He is.
That he
So
is God. Yes.
that He is God. So you want to start with that, and then after you acknowledge, all right, I'm sorry. There's some of the things I then you want to go into
Confession.
then you want to go into some confessions like, okay, God, I'm sorry. I may have said some things, something as simple. I may have thought something wrong
Mhm.
about my husband,
Mhm.
or I may have gotten short, or help me understand, just little things like, if I have unforgiveness in my heart, please show me where it is. So this is when you go into, you know, confessions, and then after confessions, you jump right into thanking him for what he already has done and what he's going to do,
Yes.
because you've already, you worship him, you really communing with him, and now you want to thank him for what he is going to do. Thank him in advance. And
Mm.
when you get it, still thank him
Mhm.
after
Mhm.
you get it. Um, Sometimes when you ask for things, you may not get what you want, and we get upset about it, but then we have to go to God and ask. Sometimes it may not be for us at that time, to
Mhm.
understand why we're not getting things. That is something that I had to get over real quick. Is why I didn't get this, or right now you may not have the capacity to have that.
That's
So
true.
you have to understand that sometimes what we want is not what God sees for us right now, and a lot of people get upset.
And God has a right. He has a right to
Hmm.
say yes, no, or wait. And
Hmm.
so we have to respect his answer because you know what? He knows us, he knows what we can handle, he knows what we can do. He knows the big picture. We just know this one little spot that we have, and we don't think about everybody else around us and how it might affect other people. But he
Right.
takes all of that into consideration. And so that is wonderful that he does that. And we didn't hit S.
Yes. So it's asking God for what you need.
Yes.
What are you in need of?
Yes.
What is it that He can do to help you? So that's when you want to bring those things to the table now. Now you want to say, okay, God, it's been a rough week. Payday is in a couple of days. Well, and I want to say, before my prayer used to be, oh God, payday, I need my gas to last. Now my prayer has changed where bring me clients, or bring me, or have a raise where I'm able to not work paycheck. So the prayer has changed from something so little, let the gas stay, to now I would like this so I don't have to ask you for gas to last. I have the means to do that. So your prayer life grows. It may start out small, but your prayer life is going to develop, especially when you're communing with the Lord.
It does. I mean, and the more you spend time in the Word, in His Bible, you know what, your prayer life would change because you see all these wonderful things that he has done and you know he's capable of doing it. And so if he's done it already one time, you know he can do it again. And so you just got to have that faith. And when you pray, believe that he is going to do the things that he needs to do that you can make it.
And
He
people always say, "You smile so much." I'm like, if you only knew what I've been through, all I can do is thank him for what he has done and what he's doing in my life and our family lives right now. And I know where I've been, so I'm going to continue smiling. I'm going to continue giving him thanks because I know where I could have been.
true.
You ever thought where you could have been?
Lord, I thank you. I thank you because there are some places that he has definitely covered me in and brought me
Hmm.
through. And
Hmm.
when I think back over that time, I'm just like, oh Father Jesus, you are awesome and wonderful. And thank you for giving me the wisdom to not want to keep traveling down that road because
Yes,
yeah, that
yes,
road
most
leads to death.
definitely. Not a place I want to be.
No. So you mentioned that you are a praise dancer. That
Hmm.
is great.
It started in my in church, a church I used to go to a long time ago, but now there is a community dance group where just different dancers from different churches, they just come together. And I love it because I do have, being a mom, we're all, older with kids, so I'm able to kind of like, hey, I'm gonna take this season off because I have to focus on family right now, and I get to jump back in. So it's just that form of worshiping God, and then also that form of sisterhood and being with women who love Jesus just like you do, and we're able to share just about our lives. We're kind of all in the same stages with kids, so we get to really talk with each other, and we know they're Christ-minded people, and we just get to dance and worship the Lord. So I love, and it keeps me fit. When you're over 40, you got to do.
Tell me about it.
You gotta say fit.
So in your dancing, because
Hmm.
different people hear from God different ways. So
Hmm.
is he very clear? Like when you're dancing, do you hear him clearly, or do you have like a quiet meditation time when you hear him? Or when do you hear him the most?
I, I hear him the most in the. Well, okay, so there's two places. I hear him the most quiet time. So I do have a closet that I can have my quiet time, and in the car. I mean, being a mom, we're in that car pickup line, and sometimes I like to have it quiet, or sometimes I have a podcast on, and just that moment of silence. I'm an early bird, so I may be up at 4. I think my time that he wants me is that 4 5 o'clock time. But when I'm dancing, I see pictures.
Oh,
I don't He
okay.
don't so much talk to me. I see pictures. So he talks to me in different ways. So I love the dancing because I can see the pictures. I'm very I'm a very visual person, and then
Mhm.
I can see the pictures, but then in my quiet time it's almost like he's describing the pictures, or we're kind of, so that's kind of like my relationship with God is
Right.
just pictures. And then, all right, God, what's this? But I hear him clearly in my closet and in my car. In my car. Hmm.
Yeah, he talks. He's always talking. It's just a matter of us opening our hearts so that we could hear what he's
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
Um, we don't get the everything. We get pieces. We get the piece that we need. And so I'm just very thankful that I can even just hear and that I have a heart that's soft enough that I can receive what he's saying.
Hmm.
So do you have any particular scriptures that you depend on or you lean on to help you?
I mean, we always gonna go to the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
That to me, especially just the beginner's guide for Christianity. I
Mhm.
mean, if you really I would suggest digest the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
Really study the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven. Just the basics. And if you really study that prayer and understand how he was praying, like, and that gives you a blueprint. That is the blueprint. That's the starting point. understanding that scripture and building off of that scripture when it comes to prayer is reading it, understanding it. So I would say the beginners, Lord's Prayer. Understand it, know it, just understand. I mean, read it word for word and understand it and understand why he said what he said. So,
And you know, one of the things that I think about when I was younger, because
hmm
the prayer starts out, Our Father, right?
yep,
I'm like, our?
yep, yep.
He my daddy. You know?
And that's why I said if you study like that, that in itself will stop you.
So, you know, I was spoiled because, you know, I was the only girl sandwiched between two boys. And so
Oh
my whole
wow.
thing was, yeah, he's, you know what, this is my daddy. I don't, you know, I don't really care about y'all, whatever. But, you know, because I was a daddy's girl. So this is my
hmm
daddy, whatever, you know. And so sometimes when I first started giving my life to Christ, I'm like, he my daddy. I don't care about none of y'all. But I had to learn, you know what, he's our father and he's going to treat his other children just as good as he's going to treat me. But that was a
Yes.
learning process. So just that word alone, like you said, our
hmm
is key to that prayer. So he's in it for everybody, not just
And
me.
it's our key that locks us all together. He is all our Father. And then, like you said, it's our Father, and I'm a daddy's girl, but I remember, I think, my first child's a girl, and then I had a son, and someone told me at work, oh, it's a different love. I promise you. No, it is a different, each kid is a different love. We
Yes,
parent
yes,
each kid different. The way I parent my 14-year-old is not the same way I parent my 12-year-old. We cannot. And that, because he's our father, he does love us equally, and he parents us differently.
yes, yes,
That is so important because you may see someone's journey and someone's walk with God, and he is parenting that, that's their journey. It's not your journey. Your journey is going to be different than someone else's journey. So when you understand that he can't he can't talk to me the way he talked to you.
that's true. That is true. What I like about him, though, this is what I like. This is something that it took me a while to learn too, because when you go to him in prayer about somebody else, he always works on you. He don't
Yes,
work on the other person. It's always about you. What could you do better? How could you have handled this better? What, you know what? It's, you know, I'm the one that he says, no, you need to look at you and make a change and not try to worry about the other person. You
I
know,
love what I love when one of the kids run in the room, and I love to always bring it back to parenting. They run such and such did this and did that and did that, and I sit back like, well, how would you want me to work? How would you want me to do that? What would you want me to do about it? How would you like me to discipline them? Okay. They so worried about how I'm gonna handle that situation. No, let I'm gonna handle this the way I need to handle this with this kid,
right.
and so after a while they just stop coming and telling on people because I'm like, okay, well, what we gonna do this since you're so worried about what they did wrong and you're ready to talk about them. What what are we doing on ourselves? You
Yes.
know, so.
What part did you play in this? Because we
Mhm,
all have a part.
that's
We all.
that's everybody plays a role.
Look, you just the fastest one to run in here. And that's how we do God. Just like you said, it's
hmm
just like a parent, we the fastest one to get to him or the fastest one to pray. And he's like, no, what was your
hmm
role in this?
Exactly.
So I'm like, now my prayer is, Lord, just fix me. Fix me so that I can be better for everybody. Because if I work on my own self, I'll be better for
Yep.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And that is, that is the supplication. You know what? To go to him humbly and say, you know what, Lord, I need help. I need help in this
I
journey of
need
life
help.
called life.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like block everyone else out.
Mhm.
And I want to better myself so that
Yes.
I can be a better for other people, and not the other way. You need to fix them. You need to fix them. No, no, no. Let's work on me. What is it? Why is this person getting on my nerves? Or why is it? I start asking why now. Like why? Why am I feeling this way?
Yes.
You know, what Jesus, why am I feeling this way? Let's talk.
But there are some prayers I just don't want to pray. Like, I don't like
Mm,
praying for patience because God teaches us. He teaches us by practical application. And so you're praying for patience. Of course, he's going to bring you somebody that you're going to have to be patient with. Just like in the Bible, it says, if you're a thief, he's not going to just pour money on you and give you everything you want. He's going to tell you to go get a job and then give it away. And it's just
hmm
like, Lord, you know what? This don't make a lot of sense
But
to me.
be careful what you ask for, you know.
That's true.
Yeah,
'Cause
I love it when people, they pray the prayer of anything that's not good in my life, people or whatever, please, you know, go away. And then when the people that you thought are leaving, whoa, 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 God, and they're not this person. No, no, no. I'm shaking the tree, and I'm
yes,
shaking the tree, and some of the leaves that fall may not be the people that you think, you
that's
know.
true.
So
That is so true. So do you have any other scriptures that you focus on?
is to pray about everything. So once you understand how to pray, then understand you pray about everything.
And don't hide from God because he already knows. It's just him. When you say it out loud or you say it when you're talking to God, it's so that you can acknowledge that and then he could help you with that. I mean, there's some things that's so deep buried inside of you that you need to bring up and discuss with God. You might not want to share with anybody else, but he can help you with those things. And so there's a lot of stuff that we go through in life. And there's a lot of feelings and emotions. And I'll use this as an example. Being a married person, sometimes you don't always like your spouse. Sometimes you
Mhm.
don't even always like your kids. you know, but you you got to be honest with him and say, Lord, right now I am struggling with this. Right now, I don't like the attitude. Right now, I don't like what they just did. I don't like what they just said. But you know what? I know, Father, that you can help me.
Right,
And I know
right.
that, if I'm coming to you asking, you are going to make a way of escape, or you're going to give me something that I can hang on to get past this point. And,
Hmm.
it's still that you love them. It's just maybe you don't like them at that moment. But to be honest in front of him and to confess that, you know what, it's a beautiful thing because once
Because
you, what,
he already knew once he.
yes,
Mhm.
he did. I remember one time going to the altar and I was really upset. And my mom actually had did some stuff that I really didn't like. And I went to the altar and I just raised my hands up to the Lord. And I was like, Father Jesus, I said, she's my mother. I love her. I just don't like what she just did. Help me to get over this and to get past this and to be able to forgive her. And I just felt this peace in
Yes.
my life. And after that, you know what? I can just go to my mother. I can hug her. I can kiss her. And I'm just like, you know what? She's still my mom. She's always going to be my mom. And I want to enjoy her for as long as I can. And so some things, you just have to let go of, and God can help you through prayer and through that.
I think you brought up a good example with your mother. And when you said sometimes when we have to speak, that's we're confessing there's some deep rooted issues that we probably put in the back of our mind and but it's still affecting us because of trauma or things like that. And I think we talked about this, personally, but me and my mom, I'm a daddy's girl, so as at one point, especially, high school, we really didn't talk. And I kind of moved on and moved to Florida. And then after having kids, my mom said every time you talk to me, it's like you're talking at me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, she just felt like the way I talked to her in my eyes, I felt like I was perfectly fine in my eyes. But when I really talk with God and like my mom said this, why? Why? I didn't think I saw it. But when I really asked him, I mean, it really digged into some deep rooted issues from childhood. Nothing bad, but just things that, oh, and we really sat down, we talked about it. And it, like you said, it was just like a weight lifted off. But I didn't think anything was wrong,
Right.
you know. But in my mom's eyes, I talked at her. I didn't know, but when we really sat down and I really asked God why, he really revealed to me, and me and my mom was able to really talk about the situations. And I mean, it was just like that, gone,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So
And you can if you take the time to get to talk to, because you know what? As a child, we don't always see the other side, or see
no,
their point of view. And so when you get older and you have your own kids, because that's what it took for me to,
oh yeah,
to see my own, and I'm like, oh wow, you know what? I know what's going on behind the scenes in my house. So I wonder what was going on behind the scenes, in my parents' house.
yes,
And so you have a lot more compassion and love and understanding. And it all comes with maturity.
hmm
And so
and realizing, hey, I was that young too. Like I call my mom like, Mom, your mind does not get old, and she's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. I'm 70 something years old. Your mind doesn't get old, but it's maturity and just growing. And it's the same thing with Christ. It's just you grow with him.
right. And so I thank you because this has been wonderful. So if anybody's trying to learn how to pray, definitely do the Acts prayer, affirmation. Um, C is for confession,
Mhm.
T is for thanksgiving, and S is supplication. And so that is like the way to begin if you're looking to learn how to pray. So Nidra, we want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So I
Thank you.
understand you
Mhm.
have a freebie.
Yes, so I know we got all excited talking about God. I can talk about that for hours. So on my page and on the links, I do have a free resources tab. And it's for small business owners if just to help you get set up digitally. So I have about three or four out there on we have a checklist just to see that if you're up to date digitally with your business and some of the things that you can do. So I will definitely have the link for you guys to get freebies.
All right. So thank you for coming on today.
Thank
I do
you.
appreciate it. All
Thank you
right.
for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.